Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in the lab. Where I do what I do for you. I got something nice for you today. Let's go. You're gonna learn something today. Let's go. Right? Isms. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with messages and the message in the story. Life lessons I give you tuning in. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. Not right now, my dude. Not right now. Excuse me. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and you know I'm on it, is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. Let's work together and make that happen. You know how we do. Let's go. So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not, foolish, disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not. It's simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know, it's okay. They're spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to Mayat, be true. I'm back in the book. We were doing Pater. Right thinkers, let's talk about one of my girls. Sekhmiit in the primary forms of feline essence. She's the female cat lioness. And she got forms of Tefnut, you got Sekhmet and Best. I break them down for you, but I want to wrap up my dude Ptah. Okay, the different forms. You see him right there at the potter's wheel. You see him right there as a saw in the underworld. You see him right there with the pygmy. Okay, with Aset and that with him. Okay, I showed you the form earlier, but this is him in a different form, standing on the crocs. Okay, alligator, excuse me, and he's wrapped with on the top of his head. You see the scarab. At the bottom down here, two more phases. You see at the bottom, he has a sun disk on his head over here. On the other side, you see he got the ram's head. So they different concepts, different perspectives, but they're all based on the god Ptah. Now the story goes, Ptah conceived in his heart, reasoning, consciousness, and all that would exist, and at his what? Utterance, he created himself. The word, will, power to make what? Manifest. That's what we as humans have the power to what? Conceive, achieve, and manifest. So, what did he do? He created the noon. Again, according to them, this is now we're dealing with the Memphite story. Okay? They have a different perspective about the creation. It starts with Ptah. And he that made have a place. When he came out of the noon, he had nowhere to sit. So he had made a place to sit. A tomb then emerged and what? Sits upon Ptah. But when he created the Benben, that dot in the circle, that dot represents him have somewhere to sit when he came out of the noon. That was a dot. The dot in the circle signifies you, and you circumscribe yourself in due bounds. God does that with himself. So that's what we had the power to do the same thing. Masons call it circumscribe, you do bounds. Okay. But next thing is, and then by not having nowhere to sit, Ptah caused the noon to emerge out of the primeval water, sat upon the place. I just did that. And what happened? When Atum then emerged and sits upon Ptah, then came out of the waters, what? The four pairs of gods. We call it the Ogdo. I gave you them a little while ago in the last lesson. Four sets of gods, male and female. Yep. We had the Noonat, Hugh, who you at, Kukat, and Amun and Amenet. Remember him? That's the gods of creation for the Menphite theology, that's their gods. And Ptah is the supreme god for them. All right, now let's talk about Sekhmet in the forms of Sekhmet. You see that number 4? That's her in the cat form, okay? But you see number 1, that's Tefnut. And you notice her headdress, okay? When in God form, she had the sun disk over her head in every one. But the 4th, when she become normal, she's just a cat, okay? That's the concept. She's best. First of all, let's go through. I can break that down as we go. Now, one important element of the goddess is what? The feline aspect. Did you know that a cat can beat the serpent? Smack him every time, okay? So, and we knew that. So when Apophis deal with Ra, he calls who? Sekhmet. Turn into the female line and do work, okay? Another lesson, but it's proven now why. They knew that a long time ago. I see shows now where a little kitten, you see a big cobra coming up, the kitten just standing looking all innocent, and the cobra coming up. And when he go to strike, the cat pat smack the shit out of him right quick. Don't even flinch. So they understood the concept between the cat and the serpent. Let me get to this lesson. I had to get that one in. But now, she's the female element for the feline aspect. Sekhmet is the primary form of the feline essence, of the divine. Remember, she's divine because she got the sun disk. When she's regular fast, she don't have the sun disk. She's just a regular, normal house cat. And you know the Egyptians revered their cats. I'm one of them too. I got 2 of them, so I get it. They have a pineal gland. Moving on. But in nature, cats have a pineal gland, but they have an immaterial relationship. Why? They can communicate with higher power. Obviously, they know they sense stuff. And what happened? Their relationship with serpents. In ancient Egypt mythology, what? The serpent of darkness is seen as the embodiment of ignorance. Again, darkness means not seeing, not moving around. Why? Not knowing. So it's signified by darkness, ignorance, or we call it evil, which threatens what? The movement of who? The boat of Ra, and which prevents you, the spiritual aspirant, from attaining spiritual enlightenment. Your hindrance is your ego self. Therefore, that's the darkness, that's the lower nature, whatever you want to call it. But we had a concept that will show you how to deal with that. Why? They was aware of the ego. Trust me. The goddess in the form of a cat, that's Bast. Above, that's the number 4. I showed you number 4 of the lioness. Number 1 is Tefnut. That's the mate to shoot. She represents what? Moist air. That's why she got the sun disk and the Uranus on her head. She's divine. She was the first female. How about that? And she represents the female power aspect of the serpent. She's the female aspect of serpent power. Watch this. And Sekhmet above to the left, which is number 2. And she walks with the sun disk on her head also, but she's in the lion form. And she got the staff, everything going. But now number 3. You see that? She got both serpents, okay, which is just one. We know the twins, Nephthys, that's the twin serpents. That's Aset and Nephthep in their other form. She has control of them. That's what they're showing you right there. She controlled them too, okay? That's how powerful and strong she is. And you see here, Sekhmet above the left, 1, 2, and 3 is seen as the what? Warrior and the champion of gods, which is Asar and Haru, as well as you, the aspirant. She is the one who what? Who paves the way for spiritual evolution. How? By destroying what? The evil, aka darkness or ignorance, and the sinfulness in what? Your human heart. She's the one that burns away the evil. Why? She represents destruction. When she come down, she was the one that Ra sent down to destroy all those who didn't adhere to him. Okay, moving on. And she represents what? The goddess who controls, again, the serpent power. Okay, and that represented by Aset as well. Now, let's talk about their offspring, Nefertem. You see him in his human form? He got the lotus flower over top of his head. He got his staff. He got the tail. And you see both standing on what? Mayat pedestal. They all on the pedestal. You read all the guys you see, they all stand on Mayat. Okay? Let's talk about the forms of Nefertem right quick. I see the clock. All right, I got a few minutes to go through this. So, the Egyptian Trinity mythology of Amen-Ra-Ptah represents a major philosophical discourse on the composition of what? Nature and the path of the Cometian spirituality from the Memphite theology, and is based on the god Ptah, unlike the Anuian, which is Ra. Ptah is only a third. Remember, there's three. The Trinity. We went through Amun. No, it's Amun hidden. Ra, we just did him sing. Now we're doing Ptah, which is the manifestation, the physical part, and this is where humans come in at. This is the part about you need to understand about your character. It's just 1/3. You still got another one. He's a 2/3. We're gonna finish up with Amun. Let's get to this lesson right quick. Hope you understand what we're doing. So Ptah is only 1/3 of the entire teaching. Learning one, that's cool. You learn the Anuian philosophy, that's good. Then you might want to learn the Memphite philosophy, that's good. Then you might want to tip in on the Theban philosophy. If you have all three, you'd be like me, master of self. You can pick anyone, like the Shaolin monks. You can pick anyone to master them all. If you got a chance, that's what I do. Okay, be like that. Ptah is what? The supreme spirit, the spirit, and he manifests, there you go, what? Creation, how? Through his consort, Sekhmiit, the serpent power, and their child, Nefertem. That's what we're going to talk about. But the trinity of the Memphite, Ptah, Sekhmiit, Nefertem, it relates to what? A profound, and it will give you profound understanding of what? The nature of creation by breaking it down so you can understand it. And Ptah is the hidden inner essence of creation and the essence of the human soul as well. He's in us. Like Vishnu in the Hindu myth, Ptah is what? Passive. All you do is see him standing up. He ain't doing nothing else. Okay? Just like a saw. They don't do much. Amun, ain't doing nothing. Okay? It's all conceptual. He's passive, immobile, and detached. He thinks creation, okay? He thinks creation into being. That's how we perform and manifest what we do. We feel it, we think it, and we utter it. Words of what? Heka, words of power. By his will. He thinks creation into being what? By his will. And has indeed become what? The universe through the actions of what? Creation, Nefertem. Ptah thoughts. His thoughts are transformed what? Into words. In the beginning, there was God, the word, and the words were God. Yeah, that's Ptah. Same concept. Okay, that's what we got. You understand that? And the word is what? Vibration, movement, making something happen. Perfect segue. And these cause what? The noon, which is the primeval ocean, to take the varied forms of creation, which are described in detail in the foremost scripture of Memphite theology. We all got the concept, Memphite, Anu, and Thebes. Same concept. And watch this. Now, they got a thing called the Shabaka stone. I got a picture of that on the next page. Inscription. And what that did is, it's a philosophy that means that just as wind and its motion are one and the same, the ocean and its waves are one and the same. You start to get the concept? And in the same way, the Supreme Self and its objects, aka human beings, nature, plant, whatever it is of the world, are what? One and the same. You get the concept? God is inside his creation, and no matter what you call him, no matter where you're at, no matter how you practice your philosophy, it's still one God. So understand that, and he's in you. As in Anuian theology, I told you that one, according to the Memphite theology, watch this, the world is composed of Neteru, same concept. These Neterus are divine energy. Again, same concept. Cosmic forces. Luke, use the force. So it constitutes what? all physical phenomena. Ptah represents manifestation in the physical realm right here. And these Neteru have what? Assumed what? Bodies, forms, us, of all objects in the world, which appear, watch this, on the surface to be different and separate from each other. We individually feel that way, but as you get deeper, watch this. But in reality, a little deeper, the Neteru are essentially conditioned aspects of who? God. And therefore, God has entered into all forms of existence, his creation. Same philosophy, ain't changed yet. Menphite theology is actually a unique form of the Cometian religion in what? In that it is highly psychological, philosophical, and orientated towards what? Intellectual development that leads one towards what? Intuitional realization of the nature of who? The self, aka knowing thyself through these studies and these practices. In this sense, it is no surprise to what? To find that earlier followers of the Buddhists, which was a discipline emphasizing on mystical, psychological philosophy by developing and what? An affinity for the city of Memphis, and it became attached to its what? Temples, which promoted the teachings of the Menphite theology. And since they have much in common with the Buddhist teachings, the Menphite scripture elucidates what? Elucidates yet on the process of creation, breaking it down, simplifying it so you can understand it. That's why I stay in creation mode. As a Mason, I stayed in first degree mode for that reason. 1 second. Excuse me. Ptah thinks, and a creator, Tim, on his lotus comes into existence, and creation is now brought forth. We try to break down how creation was got to existence. And then, watch this. Not having a place to sit, Ptah causes the noon to emerge from the primeval waters. We just talked about that. And made the hill, aka the Ben, that he may have a place to sit. Atum then emerges and sits upon Ptah. This is from the Shabaka inscription. Now, in order to understand and appreciate the word Nefertem more fully, let's break it down right quick. Its definition and function, remember, its a purpose, will now be presented. Nefertem means beautiful completion. In the ancient Egyptian book of Coming Forth by Day, it is said that when an initiate attains what? Resurrection, enlightenment, in essence, spiritual enlightenment, they are actually what? Becoming Nefertem. In the creation myth of the city of Anu, Anuian theology, the Atum or Tim is also the divine aspect of the spirit as the first individual entity to emerge from the primeval ocean. Also in a separate but related teachings from the myth of Ra and Aset, Tim is referred to as what? The third aspect of Ra. Okay, remember Ra in the morning, Khepri in the morning, Ra in the afternoon, and Tim at night. The three aspects of Ra, and I told you that method before. So in the myth of Ra and Aset, Ra says, I am Khepri in the morning, Ra at midday, and Tim in the evening. That's where he fits in at. He means completion. Tim is the end of the day and the cycle of life also. It is also a correlative theological statement that what? That connects the Anuian theology to the Asetian theology, the mysteries of the goddess Aset or Isis. Thus we have Khepria, Ra, Tim, the three phases of life, the three phases of the sun from morning, noon to night. In the Anuian triad, that's their concept. And now in chapter 4, the Pert and Haru, the initiate is to what? Identify him or herself with Tim. Why? And to assert this. I am Tim in rising. I am the only one. I came into being with the new. I am Ra who rose in the beginning. They all connect themselves with their what? to God, the one supreme, for their concepts. Okay, wrap it up. The statement further relates to Tim as what? Nefertem. Hello, the beautiful ending. The newborn son, the morning sun, S-U-N, not S-O-N, which is symbolized what? By the divine solar child, which is what you're seeing right here. Again, sitting on a lotus plant, okay? And, oh, at the bottom of that, that's the Shabaka stone. You see the stuff coming out is all worn now, but it has some writings on there that they had, the information that they got. That's where you get it from. So let's wrap it up. Above, I just showed you the Shabaka stone. Now, because so much of the text rubbed off due to what? Mishandling over the years. So they don't know what it says for real. Let me wrap it up for you. Now, the origin of Ptah and the nature of compensation of matter, or what it turned physical reality, that's in the frontal part, manifestation, and the concept of what? Consciousness, were understood and clearly set down in the hieroglyphic text on the pyramids, okay, where date back to, you ready? 5000 BCE. In the theological system of the Memphis in Egypt. Through the Shabaka inscription, we are to understand that Ptah created the gods and goddesses, verses 3, through which his what? His thought and desire, aka or in essence, his will. And they became what? The manifested creation. Creation itself is explained as the body that the god and goddesses, in essence, forms of what? The spirit that exists in it. Is God, like water from the ocean. Whatever the ocean is, that's what that drop from the ocean is also. That's what they use that as a concept so you can understand it. I see the clock. Let me wrap it up. Now, the passage above is very important. Why? Because it establishes what? The mystical transcendence of the initiate, you who has realized him or herself what? Oneness in the union with the divine. You see me pointing up all the time. God dang it. God damn it. God damn it. Excuse me. Sorry. And that's all. But it's all correlative theological statement that what connects Memphite theology to the Anuian theology and other papyri. Tim is also identified with the young Heru Prakar Hamakis. That means young Heru, the solar child, as the early morning sun. Thus, Khepri, Ra, Tamu are forms of the same being and are the objects of every initiate spiritual goal. Being the oldest of the three theologies, the mysteries of Anuian theology formed a foundation for the unfolding of the teachings of all the mystical spiritualities which followed in the mysteries of Hetekapata. Yeah. Memphis theology, meaning all tied in through Ptah and the mysteries of the Waset, Thebes, Theban theology through Amun. We're going there next. That's in the lesson right now. All right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and be 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinkers like you have passed away. I'll be back